Welcome to Rauta. This is Underground Trio Reviews and I am Jerry. I'm gonna talk to you about 3 different albums coming from the underground, that is less known bands from, audience who wants to know more. As always with the Underground Trio, I'll go from worst to best according to my own opinion, so feel free to disagree and figure out which ones, if any, are your cup of tea, figuratively speaking of course. So let's go first to the band album I would rate to least in this particular episode. Mind you, all these albums, all these bands are a little bit different from one another in terms of music and genre, so not really comparable in the terms of that. So let's first head to Argentina with Tumba de Carne. This is curiously named an album. I mean, it says this with a couple of dashes. Maybe it's something that you want to read it here. Decatexis / or dash whatever. Perpetu. Really, I don't know what to think about when bands name their albums in a ways that doesn't really tell you much. I mean, call me a simple metalhead. Maybe I'm just dumb and all, but I like when titles are like punchy, when they are simple, right to the bone, right to the core, giving you like, hey, this sounds interesting, this album is about war or death or whatever. But when it's like, okay, let's get goofy, let's get that very messy logo like this one here, I'm like, already, okay, you lost my interest. Now, unfortunately, this album is not exactly very good. Comes with a nice folding booklet, nice, but depends if you're bored with the classic booklet where pages open up easily for reading. This is a little bit different take. Anyway, this band is from Argentina with this album out only, and this already came out in 2021, so it's a little bit late to the party, hence Underground Trio. The style here is complex, one could even say experimental death metal. I mean, the overall sound is quite clanky. One could even say a little bit demo-ish. It's not really the kind of like, hey, is this really supporting the music, putting the riffs very heavy area or sphere. Then you have kind of a deep growly vocals, nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit monotone and all. But when it comes to riffs, songwriting, this is all over the place. It's almost like some music college guys like, hey, let's play some not so conservative, not so old school death metal. Let's go modern, let's go experimental, let's go progressive or whatever. Not exactly technical, but it's a little bit all over the place, like, why is this riff here? Why it's in conjunction with that? This is for a very, very marginal audience. I am definitely honest when I say this isn't my cup of tea. I don't hate it, but I find it not that likable, really. I could go with more harsher words, but I don't want to insult anybody. Let's just say this is for a very marginal audience who's looking for something different in their death metal. Don't expect good production. Don't expect clear, nice, groovy, catchy, memorable songwriting. Expect totally something else and you're good to go with this band. Definitely a weird release and not knowing who this is intended for. Then we go to Russia and other places. This is actually a collaboration album between Goatpsalm and Horthodox with an album called Ash. Now, on Metal Archives, this is listed as a compilation of sorts. And I don't know if this counts really as split more than collaboration, but I guess that's like, I don't know, nitpicking. Comes with 7 songs, very lengthy album or an album overall. And as you can see here, this is done in different places. 2019, 2021, was released, I think, if I remember correctly, 2021 also. Here it says anyway, this is when it was produced and released by Aesthetic Death from UK. Comes with a kind of odd album cover, a pretty interesting black and white cover with a little bit of red in the mix. There's a floating boat with 3, I would say, wise men on fire. If this is some not kind of David Lynch take on the music and cover, I don't know what is. Anyhow, this kind of fits the music because this is not your typical stuff. This is a digipack which unfolds like this. There is an explanation to the whole story, and then you have, of course, the sleeves. Well, not sleeves, but these pages, and well, you have the tray. Musically, this is interesting because it's kind of an instrumental guitar music combining elements from drone and ambient. And as such, it's not really for a big audience right there. Much different, but also like the previous band I mentioned, this is for a marginal audience. That is because, well, drone in general is not for, well, a lot of people. They will find it unmusical, uninteresting, not too much happening. Same goes for the ambient part. Sometimes drone and ambient is used in an overlapping meaning, even though they're technically speaking a little bit different from one another. But let's not go nitpicking. Let's just say, in my opinion anyway, this combines drone to ambient to instrumental guitar music. As such, they're in the vocals. And being kind of a lengthy album, this can get a little bit boring, or more like folding back into the background. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, this is kind of a soundtrack when you really need to focus instead something else rather than words, which might suit a lot of work out there. I mean, if you have an office job like I do, sometimes this is kind of a music you're gonna go into. And quite easily so. It's way better than any kind of radio stuff. But then again, if you like music that is kind of a captivating, memorable, what have you, this is maybe not exactly that. I like certain drone albums a lot, and I like a lot of rock ambient ones even more so. But this is not exactly pushing all the right buttons for me. So theoretically, it's something that I should, totally resonate with. But sometimes I feel like it should be something else. And maybe it's sort of part of those guitar parts where I'm more like, okay, I'm falling off the wagon. Anyway, if you're looking for something else than your typical music you're listening to, Goatpsalm Horthodox Ash might be the album for you. And then we go to the weirdest, in a way, but also the most captivating album of the whole pile. This is from Russia, already released a few years ago, so people who are more into modern days geopolitics, this goes beyond Ukrainian war and all that stuff. This is technically speaking Artemis The Endless Journey. That's the artist name, and North is the album. This comes with a nice, came with a nice postcard sent to me. So here it is. Thank you for this. This is pretty cool addition to the packaging you just saw. Then we have this booklet, and then we have this digipack album. This is self-financed. Now, this main man, the composer of the band, is known for his doom band from Russia known as Scarecrow. This is very different because this ain't no metal at all. This is more like a soundtrack music. Could be for a movie or video game, really. It's kind of epic, kind of a majestic in places. So if you're into soundtrack music, you already know what to expect. In my opinion, this feels like something that you're actually traveling. A soundtrack to a journey, which I guess is the intention here. This really, really has the feeling. And having these, beautiful graphics here, be it about the mountains or fjords, the landscape, the colors, everything here fits. This really could be coming from, say, Norway, coming from Sweden, Finland, whatever, any kind of a Nordic country or country with north feeling could have it. Well, we don't have mountains in Finland, but that goes beyond the point. I mean, we're talking about tree lines, we're talking about icy waters, we're talking about majestic, epic visions, no man in sight. So, yes, this is the kind of a soundtrack that could go with your northern journey. I mean, for example, these pictures here with the fjords, these really could be like you going on a massive boat trip to Norway. And then we have more photos here which could really be from the Laplandish parts of, well, Norway, Finland, Sweden, or, I don't know, maybe northern Russia as well. In a way, these images, these photos, these are going well nicely, hand in hand, like these northern lights, for example, with the music here. It's just like describing this journey to the north with photos and the music accompanying the feeling here. I'm saying this is the kind of stuff where you just feel like you don't need the vocals, you don't need any kind of lyrics to go with. You just need the atmosphere that you're actually floating, going, I don't know, with a boat, with feet, with dogs or whatever, to a place where you just mind is going to rest and relax, even if it's bleak, cold, icy, snowy journey. For me, this is a kind of a good album because I like soundtracks. However, there is a clear difference when something is done with a big orchestra or with a real like professional composer doing video game or movie or TV show soundtrack, as opposed to someone who's coming from metal background and do it as a more like a hobby. That doesn't automatically mean like a big difference in terms of like compositions and such, but it might feel like, yeah, this is how the pro people do it and this is how hobby people do it. But anyway, this is just my take on it. I find this album quite fascinating, and coming with this bonus content like the photos in the booklet and even this postcard, which is something nice. I'm gonna stash it somewhere as a souvenir, memorabilia and all. It comes with a nice a sleeve of sorts. I would say, yeah, this is pretty neat of a package. But like I said, these are all different genres, so hard to compare, hard to recommend all these for different people. Complex death metal, yes, do it. Go with the Tumba de Carne. Go with the droney ambient acoustic, not acoustic, but instrumental guitars, and you're good to go with Goatpsalm, Horthodox. Or then go with Artemis The Endless Journey North if you're into soundtrack music. Different strokes for different folks. You will find links provided in the description box, so off you go and enjoy them. I hope you will find at least some interest in these albums and bands, artists, whatever. And should you have comments or questions, please use the comment box below and I'll get back to you. Now off you go, enjoy your music, take care, and see you soon with more reviews coming away.